Cyberbrainer is an online training platform designed to help individuals and teams learn the latest technologies and become certified professionals, producing a comprehensive learning experience.
And in a domain, I say or I'm going to be controlling who is going to be doing what, which is edit or view in a domain. That is what is a domain security policy. Who in my security group can do what task action which is more relevant to either a task, or I can view or edit any specific information. That is what is driven in my domain security policy. And whereas in my business process security policy I'm going to say who, which security group or a user group is going to be able to do which action or event in my business process or business process event, who can do an initiate, who can do an approved, who can do a review, who can do a configuration task, who can do whatever not it is. So that is what is my business process security policy. Alright. Next, this is more relevant to the domain security policies for any functional area. So this is like for my personal data functional area. What are the different domains and securities and everything? This particular page. Okay, so I don't know whether I want to take this, but let me just show you this particular page alone. Okay, this is the bigger screen over here. So let me pick personal data over here. This is the overall functional area level domain security policy for personal data, which is a functional area, and if you see, for the entire functional area water, the different domains available, and again, if you see over here, we have multiple ones. Some of them could have just a notepad icon, some of them could have a folder icon. So if I go to my functional area domain security policies, I can view all the domains which are relevant to this particular functional area. Now take in personal data, and I can have so much of information, so many domains over here. All of this is part of my personal data functional domain, and I can go to the one that we saw right now. So let me say date of birth. So person data, birth is one security policy which we have over here, and this again may have more child domains and everything as well. So all of this information, all the security groups which are mentioned over here will be able to view, edit, as per the permissions which we have given over here, and again. Securable actions, the same securable actions that we saw over here as well, and, if I am just going to copy-paste this in my view, security for securable item and going to be having the same screen which we saw earlier as well. Alright, let's just there. I am just going back in circles to where we came or what we saw, just that everything can be done in multiple ways in work team. Alright, and this is the purpose of my domain security policy for my entire functional area. Clear. Likewise, I may have empty. Number of other functional areas be a payroll absence, time tracking. I can have anything and everything around the world. Alright, clear on this. Let's move on to the next. So about domain security policies for functional area? So probably today, as an activity, what I want you to do is check if you are able to view one or more of the domain function. Domain security policy for a functional area. I have sure. on your personal data. You can pick for others. So just go through this particular screen over here and find out what exactly this does. And, if you want, you can go back to the View Security for secure items and find out the relevant menu from where they can be triggered. Alright, from where they can be triggered. Why I picked up personal data is, if you're having personal data, it is very, very easy for you to play around with the task. Because you can choose Logan, McNeil, Joybands, or Carolee's profile. And you can play around with this. And again, I'm perfectly fine for you to edit any of the personal data domain, but ensure that you do it only for your own security group, that you are going to be creating either a role-based or a user-based security group. Play around with only the ones that you are creating. Do not meddle with anything that has already been created or somebody else's security groups. Play around with only your own thing. I've already told you about how to do it. Do it only with yours because security, if you've got to meddle with it, it's going to be nasty business. Let me just tell you that, from my own experience, there have been so many instances where security has been goofed up. So don't ever play around with security. It's going to be really, really nasty. Alright. And the next thing we saw about domain security policy for a functional area. And again, how exactly this particular domain functional area comes down to is what is given over here. Alright. So like I said, for a business process area, what are the data? Sorry, what are the either functional area? I think I just went through with a different one. So if I see over here, I saw about domain security policy for functional area. Similarly, I can have something called as business process security policy for a functional area. Say, for an example, let me go in the reverse order. Since we have already seen about hire, I will pick hire over here and then show you over here. I'm putting it as I'm choosing it as hire. And over here. Okay, let me just give it a higher order here. I will just come up. Alright, all of the pre-hire process. Something is hooked up. And I think somebody was asking me what are the different business processes, which we have in the system. This is more like all the business processes that we have in the system, which could be numbering over 100. Over 100, that's just a pessimistic estimate, right? We may have more than 100 business processes, but just a pessimistic number is like we have over 100 business processes, alright. And for staffing. Sorry, for hire. Your functional area is going to be staffing business, and I'm going to be showing you about the business process security policy for any functional area. Since we have seen about the hire change of another business process, which are all part of my staffing functionality, I will show you around this particular functional areas, business process, security policy, as well. So, in a nutshell, whatever we saw in the hire business process, it's going to be available over here, for all of these are available. And again, some of them are folders and some of them are icons, with a folder and a notepad over here, because all of these are going to have child subprocess or sub-business process functional. This is as well, alright. So everything is going to have child actions, which are going to be having inheritance, and everything relevant to them as well. Alright, so that is why it is. And again, I can have a sign pay group. So many different tasks relevant to this, because this business process type is just going to be showing us a assigned pay group, which is the overall high-level business process type. And under that I can have multiple child security policies relevant to this particular business process. Security policy. Alright. This is the same as what we are in the business process policy, in my business process policy. So let me just open that as well. I just go to VP Hire. Just picking randomly, and I think because, like I said, the business process policy, security policy, is going to be same for all of the higher business process definition. This is going to be the same. Okay, that is number 1. And number 2. All of this that you see over here is what is translated over here or transposed over here. And again, I may have some additional tasks over here, like an assignment of a pay group, costing allocation, etc. Why these are all coming is because these are sub-business processes, which can be triggered from my higher BP. These are sub-business processes which can be triggered from there. And where I can view my sub-business processes. Remember we saw about business process config options. So all the sub-business processes in my higher business processes, and the relevant sub-processes, and their security permissions are also displayed in here. If you see for my higher business process, if I scroll to the right in my business process configuration options, I can see so many sub-business processes. Alright, after I complete. I see here so many sub-business processes over here. As I am pay group and so many sub-business processes assign establishments work schedules. All of these are called as sub-BPs. And if I come across over here to my business process security, business security policy, you may ask me a question why all of these are not available in my BP security policy, because these are sub-BPs. And this is an overall picture of all the business process actions, be it sub-BPs or tasks which can be triggered from my higher BP, and what are the relevant permissions that I give it that I can give over here. All of that is available. Clear on this, where this is coming from, because you may ask me a question, why all of these are not available in my sub-BP. Some of them may not be available because they are triggered as a part of my sub-BP. And if I go to assign cost allocation over here in the BP security policy, you can see that as well. Because this is another sub-business process. Assign costing allocation is another business process by itself. And it has its own security policies. And again, some of the business process security policies could be inherited from my higher BP as well. Clear. All that inheritance concept is going to kick in over here as well. The next one is again the same concept that we have been seeing all along of worker. Like I said, it's going to be tied to a job or a position. And again, the job or the position can be mapped to an assignable role over here. Why I said was assignable role could be something like a manager, which could in turn be a position or a job which could be tied to an incumbent worker in my organization. This is fairly a straightforward one, because we are tagging it directly to a job or a position. Like I said, a managerial position. A person who's going to be a manager in a supervised organization is going to continue to have all the privileges. That is why we have the role-based security groups assigned at a super level. And that super level is going to have specific roles. That is again going to be tied to the job or a position. All are clear. And next one, the common roles which we may have assigned over here, which could be like a manager, matrix manager, security partner. Very, very common ones which we may have over there. And in terms of user-based security groups as well. We may have so many user-based security groups. And I can have somebody that can absence partner. And again, all of these are specific roles which I can assign either at a supervised organization level or at a location level. Again, absence partners are usually assigned at a location level rather than at a supervised organization level.
Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.